Good morning. I'm so grateful that you wish to look at my soul readings. My soul readings came to the fore in the time of my life when I really had to start life from scratch again. My whole life sort of caved in. And at first I was very much sort of like reading the energy fields of the world, and I was starting to work with the crystal pyramids and the crystalline energy grids as recorded in my book Why I Was Born in Africa. And I really did not know where all of this was leading me because it was so different to what I even imagined, as I had been librarian all my life and also worked in the archives of a museum. And with it, I got interested in angel card readings. And then I suddenly found that I did not need the angel cards as such to be able to tap into people's soul records. All I needed was their birth names and also the date of their birth. And then I could actually tap into the super consciousness energy fields as they are held at the divine source, and then simply transmit the records. I started doing these in 2012, very sort of like a testing ground. And they have really, since then, I have done more than 5,000 of these readings. And you must know that these readings are done in writing, because whatever I download from the divine source, I immediately transmit into writing as I type very fast. I am not a normal challenger or a psychic. I simply transmit the records. So what happens with this is that I need you will find that I have a questionnaire that I send to you once you have booked a reading. And then as you answer the questions, please be very, very careful that you do not put too many questions there, because the less I know about you, the better. So just ask the questions, do it as simply as possible, and really the questions that you would like most answered. My soul readings basically fall in 3 categories. The first is a soul reading, which is basically about your soul. I give you your soul name. Now you must remember that your soul name is written or is recorded in sacred geometry. It's a symbol. It's not a name, because human language is human. Cosmic language is sacred geometry and sound. So your name holds sacred geometries and sound, and I need to translate that into human language, like in words. So it's not just one name like my name, Judith. It is mainly just the interpretation of the symbols. But what's so interesting is that that symbol will actually then bring your soul attributes to the fore. In other words, it is the reason why the divine created your soul, to reflect the divine back to itself. So the divine actually experiences life through your soul in all its forms and existences. Now you must remember that only one fraction of your soul is incarnated. The other parts of your soul are still working and existing elsewhere in the universe. And one part of your soul is always connected to your galaxy or star system or constellation of origin. Now my soul readings give you that, and they also give you your soul group name, that's your monad, as well as your tonal chord and your tonal your note, in other words, the note that you vibrated, whether it's E or D or A or B, and then also your soul colors. You must remember that colors also go with sound. So you actually are a light being, as your soul is filled with light. You have color, you have sound, and your soul contains sacred geometrical forms. That's why in your true soul state, you always have a sacred symbol here on your forehead, which is that your soul name. That's why people recognize you if they can read your symbol here on your forehead. Now, my soul readings are mainly about your soul. And lately, since 2020, when the new earth has been fully born, my readings often now step into a much higher phase than they've ever been before. So much of the intergalactic and the universal knowledge now comes through, which it didn't before. That is because we have stepped into the place where we are not so much bound by karma. In other words, the negative patterns that we ever created with our souls are now disintegrating. Of course, you can hang on to them for dear life, and repeat the same old things over and over again. But this is the time of letting go of those old patterns that you ever created with other souls. And every soul that you meet is contracted to meet you at a certain time, because before you were born, you met with your higher guides and you discussed what this lifetime would be all about. And then also you were informed that the new earth would be born, and also the new golden age. And that's why the next 10 years are so very, very important, because now we can't say we didn't know it, because we are now pushed into that form where we need to bring that purpose into form and being, need to create the new golden age. That's why we are here. There's no other reason why we came to this planet. Because what the past is now null and void. We've got to let go of that past. That pain and suffering and all that's everything is past. And it doesn't matter whether you were a king or queen or a pauper in other lifetimes. This lifetime is what matters. It's what you now co-create in the next 10 years and beyond that, which is really the important phase now of your life. Now, my soul readings will give that. Now, when I first started, I did give a lot of past lives reading because I just came through, because that had all to do with the soul lessons that we still need to master. But now I find that they have switched into a different gear, the higher gear, where they actually tell you, yes, that might have happened in past lives where you had these degrees of mastery, but now it's time for you to take this mastery and bring it into this life. So my soul readings are not fortune telling. Get this clear. It's not fortune telling. It is merely a guideline that reminds you of your soul contract before you came to this earth. It reminds you of what your mission and purpose is in the next 10 years or so, leading up to 2032 and beyond. You will only be standing on shifting sands if you are not crystal clear about why you are on planet Earth and why you are here and what is your mission and purpose. When the vision is greater than the sum total of self, you cannot do and be other than that vision. You live it. That is with me. I always are given a vision greater than myself. And I know what I've got to do in the next 10 years. And I'm busy putting baby steps into form and being with love. Because everything brings you back to the heart of love, to the soul of who and what you are in truth. And, I often have tears of awe and wonder when I think of the momentous opportunities that are now opening up. Everything is possible. There's nothing that is impossible now. But it switches now from the I into the we. And if you co-create now, always ask yourself, how is this not only going to benefit me, but how is it going to benefit the rest of creation? How is it going to be for the greater good of all? How is it going to bring the new way of life, the peace, the unity, the oneness into form and being with great love? So my readings are like a guideline. It's not set in stone. It merely reminds you of the framework in which you came to earth and what you agreed to do on earth. And this is a very important time where our free will now changes into divine will. In other words, divine will and your will become one and the same. And I do this consciously every morning. I say, if I request something, if I pray for something, and I always say, let this constellate into being in the highest and best ways for the highest good of all concerned, or something even better or more amazing than this, with the proviso that divine will and my will are one and the same. And your whole life will change when you do that. Because we are in that changing form now. That's why it seems like we are on shifting stones. It seems like the world is getting more chaotic and the weather patterns and whatever else. But beneath all the chaos, there is order. Divine order. Nothing happens by accident, but all by great design. So, if you feel called to book a reading with me, please remember that my schedule is very fully booked for months in advance, and that I do the best I can, but remember that you will have to wait a bit before you have a reading for me. But I know from experiences, that from the feedback I get, that people normally come back to me and say thank you. It has really, really impacted on my life in a beautiful and positive way. I don't promise anything. It's not about me. It's about the greater work we've done. I am just a channel. I'm just a transmitter. I'm an instrument used by divine hands. And all I can do is serve with great love. Thank you so much for listening, and have a wonderful, blessed, and love-filled day.